as my brother, that sucked the breast of my mother. When shall I find thee without? I would kiss thee, yea, I would not be despised. I would lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house, who would instruct me. I would cause thee to drink of the spiced wine of the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand should be under my head, his right hand should embrace me. I charge you, O daughter of Jerusalem, that ye stir not up nor wake my love till he please. Who is this that cometh from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I raised thee up under the apple tree, there thy mother brought thee forth. There she brought thee forth that bare thee. Set me as a seal upon thine heart, and as a seal upon thine arm, for love is strong as death, jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are the coals of fire, which have most vehement flames. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown. If a man would give all substance of his house for love, it would utterly be contempt. We have a little sister, she hath no breast. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she shall be spoken for? I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then I was in his eyes as one that found favor. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal-Hamon. He let out the vineyard unto the keepers. Every one for the fruit thereof was to bring 1,000 pieces of silver. My vineyard which is mine is before me. Thou, O Solomon, must have 1,000. And those that keep the fruit thereof 200. Thou that dwellest in the gardens, and the companions hearken unto thy voice, cause me to hear it. Make haste, my beloved, and be thou like to a roe or a young hart upon the mountain of spices. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. That was from the Song of Solomon chapter 8, and the latter, Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're walking with Mr. Clay, and of course I'm Mr. Clay, and we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning. We thank God for those of you that have subscribed, and those of you that have just subscribed, and we thank God for those of you who are here and there's about, and we thank all those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, all praises to the Almighty. This woman, apparently she was either a concubine or a wife of Solomon, that really admired the way Solomon, the king, did things, that she praised him and loved him beyond what imagination could ever fathom. You know, one thing about love, love is not only, the Greek definition of love is so ambiguous. Love has to have rules and laws and boundaries. I mean, if we're going to go into the Greek context of it, they have translated these scriptures into saying one word of what may have been a few words. But to sum it all up, if we was to give everything into one word and say love, we would say the law. The boundaries that God gives us toward our fellow brother or sister. The boundaries that God gives us in displaying how we admire and admonish the Almighty. And sums it all up in thou shalt love thy God with all thy mind, heart, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. He's talking about the ones that are of Jacob. Now, this love, how can this love, this Greek word love, how can we fathom it? There are so many meanings. It means so many things to so many people. But we must always have a definition or a boundary or a law or something to establish why we love someone. To just say the word, I love you, it means nothing. Therefore we say love is action. But what action is love? How can we measure love? In the experience of those who would follow the way of the Almighty, it would be the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. That would be the love that we display, and we can measure how we love not only our God, but also our brother or our sister. Yes, this would display how we love. Many of us, we have no clue or idea because of the confusion of that one Greek word that has no definite meaning. We're in the book of Job. Yes, the book of Job, as you prepare, chapter 24. The book of Job. Job have gone through so many things. I don't know how many men in this day and time could endure what Job has endured. But because Job loved the Most High, and you can tell by the narrative that Job was cautious about how he loved God. He was cautious about the substance and the offspring that God had given him, to the point that he prayed and he sought the I Am, and he just magnified the I Am and caused the I Am to be set on high in his soul and his heart, even to his very mind, just as Abram did with Isaac, to the point where if God would say, sacrifice thy son, it would not have been, it was not a problem. And he trained his son to accept what the Most High would command of him. Yes, and this is what God is looking for, one who would love the Almighty, one who would love above and beyond all that we are and is. Yes, many of us, we love our own righteousness. We love our own, maybe you have fringes or what you consider fringes, but your righteousness, and maybe you glory in your own circumcision, or maybe you glory in your own way or days that you keep the Sabbath. But do we glory in the Most High? Is it just to please those that are around you, as your Islamic and Christian constituents do? Is it just to keep your own? To be honored among those that are among you, that you are among? We have to consider our motives for serving the Most High. Not to care about what our brother or sister thinks, but to care what the law and statutes and ordinances commands, which is what our God commands. Period. No matter who watches, whether we're alone or whether we're among millions. This is the person, these are the souls God is looking for. God is drawing, the trouble that the Most High has to go through to get us to see that it's between you and Him. If you have a husband or a wife, yes, because you love God, you will stay chaste for your husband. Because you love God, you will not beat, you will not mistreat your wife. Because you love God, you will not commit adultery. You will not covet. Oh, we can get into this thing, but we're going to save that, because we have some really good things to bring you concerning the law when we get back into the law. Yes. Job chapter 24. Why, seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty, do they that know Him, or the Almighty, not see His days? You that know the Almighty, do you not see the Almighty's days? Some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks and feed thereof. In other words, we don't see what is before us, and yet we remove landmarks and violently take away things or steal. In this day and time, stealing is not what we think it is. It's corporate takeovers, it's all manner of stealing throughout from Reconstruction until today. Stealing, theft, even the theft of a whole oil tanker, and using deceitfulness to justify the theft. Because we have big bombs. Oh my God. They drive away the ass of the fatherless, and they take the widow's ox for a pledge. Raise our rent prices. Raise our variable homeowners prices. The farmer raises his prices. And then that affects the processors. That affects those that process, whether they process it to package it in cooking it or whatever, or process it to the fact of washing it and putting it in containers to sell as bulk. The farmer raises the raw material, the gold, the silver, everything, raise the prices, but yet we want the labor to be very cheap. Everyone goes against the labor. How about your product? And produce more if you want more money. How about it? But yet, we rather do this: drive away the ass from the fatherless, and take the widow's ox for a pledge. And they that turn the needy out of the way. These things are not just subject to yesterday. Look at today, what is happening with the rich and the poor, those who are in the middle and those who are on the bottom. This is what is happening now. This is just what we're using to measure these things. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. They have no choice. Behold, as wild asses in the desert, they go forth to their work, rising betimes for a prey, and the wilderness yielded food for them, for their children have to go scourging and gathering out of the wilderness, out of the trees, the forest, to plant gardens, because they cannot afford the things that the so-called farmer. Oh yes, you farmer, you are going through some, should I say, hell, torment. Yes, you're going through. God is giving you just reward because of your greediness. Not only have the land been stolen from you, but yet the fact is that you have caused the prices to be exuberant. Yes, you have. And the manufacturer or the processor, you jack it up a little bit more, not only for wages, but for your own greed. And the poor are yet left with the bill. And then it gets to the retailer who jacks it up more. We have to understand the process of how it goes. Even the oil, you say $9 a barrel, but then once it's processed, it becomes even more. You have your diesel, you have your lube oils, and this here can make one barrel of oil become $2,000 or $3,000. In the raw, if it goes down, they have to produce more to make more. If it goes up, they can produce little and make more. Not only this works with oil, but it works all across the whole spreadsheet. Greed. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing. They have no covering in the cold. Look what's happening. Namely, I can only account for, in the United States, those who have no place to go. Making money, have jobs, but forced to live in their own cars, in their own tents or makeshift tents, And then here are the wicked. They come and charge their servants to move them out of the way. Yes, cop, you are a servant of the rich. You're not a servant of the poor. You don't serve and protect. How do you do such thing when you cause that which is not even a problem to society, only a problem to those who are forcing society so they can look good or have their comfort? Oh, you just don't know. Not only in this land, but in other lands too. He says, they are wet with the showers of the mountains and embrace the rock for want of shelter. He's talking about homeless people. Look what you're doing, rich man. I mean, from all the way from South Africa to all the way Morocco. Look what you're doing. You caused this. Because it starts from the one who plants, the one who digs. And this man who digs, he's poor. Whether it's gold or cobalt or whatever, this poor man dies in hopes that he might make a living or become to the point where he can sustain himself in his old age, but yet it's only enough for today. And that barely. He has something to say. Men groan from out of the city. This is why Job gave to the poor. This is why Job clothed those that were naked. He knew the wickedness of the rich, of those who fortunately had the deed rights to the land. Those who fortunately had deed rights or land rights to the substance that comes out of the mountains, the iron ore, the diamonds. Those who had those, the oil. But the poor man that had to extract it with the machine supplied by the rich man. Oh, you had something going. Men groan from out the city, verse 12, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet God layeth not folly to them. Now, why is not God punishing the rich? Why is not God causing the rich to be as the poor, to bring him down? One thing I can say, because many poor men have went against their own brother in order to please the rich, in hopes that they would promote them to become closer to them in stature. You're still nothing. They are those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. You know, wicked. From the rich to the one that's in the supervisory position or lead position, we'll put it that way. You don't know the ways of the I am. You say, oh, the Lord bless you to be all this and be all that, but yet you are cruel to the one just making enough money to just provide for his family or himself for that day. The murderer rising with the light killeth the poor and needy in the light thereof as a thief. Yes, in the daylight, those who go to their jobs, you're looking for money. Those who come from their work looking for money because you are lazy and you're wicked. The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguises his face. A thief just in the same to steal another man's wife, and the wife is that of a thief, that she gives what does not belong to her to give freely to anyone else but her husband. Both, even God condemns to the death. For mourning is to them as the shadow of death. Verse 18, he is swift as waters, their portion is cursed in the earth. He abideth, abodeth, beholdeth not the way of the vineyards. Drought and heat consume in snow waters, so doth the grave those which have sinned. Yes, the heat will consume. The womb shall forget him. The worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall be no more remembered, and the wickedness shall be broken as a tree. This is what we hope. But the wicked, even in our days, you look at history, how wicked justify their wickedness and displays it as goodness, as conquest, as discovery. But yet it was something most dangerously and evil and wicked toward others, in that he gotten the place where he is today. He draweth also the mighty with his power, and he rises up, and no man is sure of life. This is the wicked, the military man who hopes to get into the highest office. You're not going to be president. Yeah, you might be a general. You might be a chested puller or something like that. Or a Dan Daly or a Dudley Do Right. But are you really doing right? Though it be given to him to be in safety wherein he resteth, his eyes are upon their ways. Yes, they are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all others, and cut off as the tops, as the ears of corn. Even the book of Enoch says there is a place for the wicked. Hell is not even nothing. That's a Greek word meaning torment. Yes. There's a place of the wicked that is full of flames. It is like an underworld. No, the Satans are not in charge of that. I'm not sorry. You are right now in charge of hell. You have the decisions, you have the choices laid before you, whether to go to the place of resting or the place of torment. These things are prepared for the wicked of men. Now, devils have a whole nother story. Read the book of Enoch. And if it be not so now, who will make me a liar and make my speech nothing worth? That's verse 24. They're exalted just a little while. Yes, the wicked. In whatever capacity you are wicked, whatever capacity you do your dirt, you are exalted. You're Jesse James. Who is in their right mind could exalt a man as such? Al Capone. And even historical praises, they give to the Belgian king who slaughtered many. Yes. To those who have caused many to lose their life at an early stage. It's not the fact of loss of life, it's the fact that the loss of life before its expectancy is what we're talking about. We're all going to die at one time, but yet they do it that they might erase the people and the persons to forward their campaign or their agenda. And Job really understood this. This is why Job was so compassionate. And this is why Job understood the I am. Because Job knew that the I am has a plan. He could see it through the wickedness and the righteousness of the righteous. The plan of the I am. But many of us, we cannot see because we do not know. And really these books, they help, but there's nothing but the law that is really worthy of it all to help you see what God's plan is. If we can delve into it. And if we do those things that are right before the I am,